And so she goes to the hospital and sees him, and he saw her perform and things like that. And then she, connected with her friends, and she apologized to them. And then like while she was with her family at the hospital, her friends came to the hospital too, but the boy that she liked wasn't there with them at that time. So after she leaves the hospital, she goes and finds that boy, and he is it's like nighttime, and he's sitting on a bench where they had tried to go fishing before. So she finds him and she sits next to him, and they basically talk a little bit, and he's kind of still thinking that she's just like kind of in this self-absorbed mode, and it's just going to be more of just her kind of putting on this persona. But she ends up saying, no, like, I'm done. And she throws the microphone in the water. And he's like kind of shocked that she did that. But he appreciates it. And he tells her, he basically confesses how he feels about her, and he tells her like, I'm absolutely crazy about you. And she made him repeat it, and then he basically like really said how he really felt, and she was able to say that she felt the same way. And so that was basically like that part of the movie that I felt was significant. And then at the end, it was like the whole group did this song together as a band, I guess, and the song was called Better Together. And also when the girl was home in her bedroom, there was a pillow on her bed and it said Better Together too. So that was like something that the Lord was highlighting to me. So basically, you are better together. Like you and your spouse, like when you're with them, you are better, because they make you better and you make them better. Just know that God is doing this. So what was highlighted here, this is Luke chapter 8, verse 48. It says, Jesus said, "Daughter, you took a risk trusting me, and now you're healed and whole. Live well, live blessed." So this was when the woman with the issue of blood touched Jesus. And so, the Lord wants you to take a risk in trusting him, regarding this promise. And he's going to bring healing and wholeness to you and to your relationship. And, another part says, "Don't be upset, just trust me, and everything will be all right." So I also want to read from Luke chapter 9. This is verse 23. It says, "Then he told them what they could expect for themselves. Anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead. You're not in the driver's seat, I am. Don't run from suffering, embrace it. Follow me and I'll show you how. Self-help is no help at all. Self-sacrifice is the way, my way, to finding yourself, your true self. What good would it do to get everything you want and lose you, the real you? If any of you is embarrassed with me and the way I'm leading you, know that the Son of Man will be far more embarrassed with you when he arrives in all his splendor in company with the Father and the holy angels." So this was what the Lord led me to last night. And so I think it really ties into the movie because just letting the Lord lead, and not losing yourself in the process of trying to get everything that you want. Because in the movie she wanted the fame, she wanted to be in the spotlight, but she lost the real her in that process. And so I think like another thing too is that even in the movie, like the relationship with the wife and the husband, you know, there was like kind of strife between them because of just they were just very different. But it was basically when he got into the accident that she came to him and she was there for him, and she realized, you know, like how much she loved him. And he also realized, like, you know, family matters. He, like, it basically, although it was an unfortunate circumstance, it basically united the family. And so just know, like, even in circumstances that may seem like, you know, challenging or may look like they're tragic, like, know that God can use it for good and use it to bring you together. Just like with the self-sacrifice. So, like, in this time when the Lord is bringing you together, something else that the Lord highlighted to me is that in the movie, the wife went to the husband in the hospital, and at the end of the movie, the girl went to the boy on the bench. And so the Lord was just highlighting to me, like, go to where they are. You know, like, in both cases, it was the woman that went to the man. And so the man, in the scenes, the men were alone and the wife came, you know, the woman came. And so the Lord might be instructing you to go towards your spouse, you know, because they have been alone and they need you right now. And, you know, they're better when they're with you. The Lord showed me 634 and 309, and that really involves just like being able to see. 309 means recovery of sight, and 634 means like falling away, so like the scales falling off your eyes. And so basically like the father was able to come out of his coma when she performed, and she had also been given the revelation of, you know, this life is not really the right direction for you. So they both were, in a sense, you know, awakened to the truth. Well, she was awakened to the truth and he was physically awake. And so basically, like, in this time as well, like, you know, either you or your spouse, you're being awakened to truth, you know. And even with like the story of Genesis, like, you know, when Adam was awoken from his sleep, like, there's an awakening that's happening. There's this opening, this eye-opening experience happening. So basically, the Lord wanted me to look up the length of the movie, and it was an hour and 32 minutes. And so I looked up 132. And well, the word is Ahineus, and it's a name. Basically, I was kind of reading into the Strong's description of this name. And so he was a paralytic cured by Peter. And so I'm just going to read kind of what it says here. He is a paralytic man briefly mentioned in Acts 9 verses 32 to 35. Though his name only appears twice in the New Testament, his encounter with the Apostle Peter serves as a pivotal demonstration of Christ's continuing power to heal. The authority delegated to the apostles, and the Gospels spread throughout Judea and Samaria. So this was after the conversion of Saul and prior to Peter's ministry in Caesarea. Luke records that as Peter was traveling throughout the area, he went down to the saints in Lydia, I think. There he found Aeneas, who had been bedridden for 8 years. Peter declared, "Aeneas, Jesus Christ heals you. Get up and put away your mat." Immediately the man rose, and all who lived in Lydda and Sharon saw him and turned to the Lord. Acts 9 verses 34 to 35. So then it says narrative emphases. Number 1, Christ-centered healing. Peter explicitly attributes the miracle to Jesus Christ, not to apostolic power. Number 2, instantaneous restoration. The immediacy underscores divine authority and authenticity. Number 3, evangelistic outcome. The visible transformation of Aeneas leads to widespread conversion, illustrating miracles as signs that confirm the gospel. So especially this part, like, this was really, ministering to me, because this is what the Lord wants to do through you and the union that he's orchestrated. So, it's going to be Christ that heals them, and it's going to be Christ that heals this, just the rifts that have occurred, and just bring you together. It's going to be a miracle, and it's going to be attributed to Jesus Christ, because these are kingdom marriages for the kingdom. Number 2, it says instantaneous restoration. And so this is something that the Lord is doing quickly. We already talked about like things being fast. In the last video I talked about quick transfer. It's happening quickly. And that also demonstrates just, how much of his power is demonstrated. And then it says evangelistic outcome. So it led to widespread conversion. So the Lord wants you to be able to spread the gospel through the miracle that he's doing in your life and in your union. So also here it describes like historical and cultural background, and it says that paralysis in the 1st century rendered an individual economically and socially marginalized. The healing thus restored Aeneas to both physical health and community life. So just know that when this healing occurs, like, it's going to bring restoration in multiple areas of your life, like the both of your lives. It's going to bring restoration. Theological significance. First bullet point says continuity of Jesus' ministry. The scene parallels Christ's earlier command, rise, take up your mat and walk. Compare Mark 2:11, showing that the risen Lord continues his works through his apostles. The second bullet point says authority in the name of Jesus. The formula Jesus Christ heals you exemplifies prayerful dependence and doctrinal clarity about the source of power. And the last bullet point says praise and witness. Fittingly, the name Aeneas means praise, and it aligns with the ensuing glorification of God by the populace. And so, this is going to bring glory to God. And just knowing that, through you, he's working, the Lord is working through you, and it's Jesus Christ that's going to bring about this healing. So yeah, this healing, it says it set the stage for the resurrection of Tabitha in Joppa in Acts 9:36-43. Together, these accounts emphasize that signs and wonders authenticate the gospel as it crosses cultural and geographic boundaries, preparing for the Gentile mission beginning in Acts 10. Another thing too is that even like, well, it depends on, you specifically, but the Lord is bringing together unions that are crossing cultural and geographic boundaries. And so it says here that it's preparing for the Gentile mission beginning in Acts 10. And so the Gentiles really represent the people that don't know Christ, and so your union is going to be kind of like, setting the stage for, this harvest of souls for God's glory.